My name is Jonathan Chenard. I am the brewer and co-owner at Long Bay Brewery.
Hi, I'm Amy. I work at Picaroons General Store as the general manager.
My name is Andrew Estabrooks, also known as Esty. I've been at this a long time. I love everything about craft beer.
I started brewing about 15 years ago in my garage, and we went commercial about 5 years ago. Really, in the past couple of years, we've seen kind of the economic stress put onto the craft beer scene. It's a business like any other, but besides that, I think some of the exciting things are around the technology and development on products we use, different hop extracts and new hop varieties and new yeast varieties, and that's what keeps the industry exciting.
We are one of the oldest craft brewers in New Brunswick. We've opened actually 30 years ago this year. We started in 1995 as a really small batch system, and we've grown to one of the largest in New Brunswick. We only did traditional ales back in the day, but we've moved along to do small batches here at the general store. And this year we've actually added a lagering tank at our main brewery.
We would go to liquor stores and people would try it almost out of a dare. They didn't quite understand what craft was. We've had this huge boom in the last 10 years or so. The scene has changed, people's acceptance has changed, people's willingness to support us. People are behind it.
So I think the 506 concert series is the iconic summer series for New Brunswick. And being part of the craft beer scene and being involved in community and music, I think it just kind of it's a good mixture of all those different cultures, and having other breweries also brewing different series of beers that are all tied to the same project, I think just allows customers to have some options based on what style of beer they like.
I've loved Area 506 since it started 10 years ago. And the moment we were asked, I was like, why wouldn't I want to enjoy a Picaroons at 506?
I think Area 506 brings a sense of awareness of what New Brunswick has to offer, what there is for musical talent and for sharing in arts, sharing in community, things like that. And those are a lot of the values that we share in a craft brewery as well. So it's really awesome to be part of something where we get to show people what New Brunswick has to offer and then what we as a community have to offer.
We're brewing, it's a session IPA, also called like an ISA. India Session Ale. For me, I think it's the best fit for the 506 series because you want to enjoy, the long run of the concert or maybe have some summer beers in the afternoon, a little bit more reserved on the alcohol content to allow you to have maybe a few more, but still contains all of the flavor that you would expect in an IPA. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
I really like that our style of IPA is sort of in the middle ground. We ended up with a really great ABV, and we got to partner up with a Canadian hop farmer, Duke 25, which will really elevate the Canadian brand.
So we get to go with the higher ABV beer, which when you start to delve into craft beer, alcohol brings a certain dynamic to craft beer that when you lower the alcohol, it's harder, it's challenging to make sure that the beer is still balanced and has everything there without the alcohol.
In this beer, we're using two main hops. They would be Eclipse, comes from Australia, and that would provide flavor of sweet mandarin orange with a little bit of pine in the background, and we're pairing that with a hop called Crush. It was an experimental hop up until last year, just kind of was named last year, and it comes out of the Yakima Valley. And Crush will provide a little bit of citrus flavor into it with some notes of like guava and melon. So I think, the mixture of those two hops are really going to come forward in a nice tropical flavored IPA. The yeast we use will create a little bit of haze, and that just kind of helps kind of balance the style out.
We're going to end up with a juicy IPA with dank citrus, peach, and juicy fruit.
So Luminosa and Citra were the two big drivers in this one, both big, bold IPA hops. So there should be citrus character to it, a little bit of peachiness there, just a little bit of tropical fruit. If you're enjoying music and you're out having a good time, it's what I would want to drink.
I think all three beers in the series are going to be great. I look forward to trying the other two beers that are being brewed. I think people would be excited to try ours because of the reserved alcohol content and full flavor aspect. And really, I think it's just the best pairing for a nice long evening outside underneath the tent.
I think it could be the best in the series. Like I said, the ABV being 5.06, like you can't really go wrong with that. With a little juiciness, a little sweet, juicy fruit, it's going to be really good.
I think people should be excited to try ours. The project is exciting and it's fun to try out new things. I think it's just an opportunity again for craft brewers to try something fun and different and be part of a cool project.
When we bring people in to see behind the brewing process, we find that they really have an interest in the mashing process. People don't quite understand it until they see it, but to take barley that's grown just in a farmer's field and then have that converted into a grain that we can use here, we just basically soak the grain in hot water and then use that liquid in about 2 or 3 week process with some additives of hops and yeast, to create a beer out of it. So for people to see those bags of grain being dumped into a hopper and then knowing that will be a drinkable product in a few weeks, I think that really drives a lot of interest with folks.
I think the most interesting part behind the scenes of brewing is how much cleaning you have to do. It's a lot of science at first, but the job is pretty much a glorified janitor.
The mash in is always it's the thing most people like, the aromatics from the grain being malted, and it's warm, and it's all the things that you would expect from brewing. Dumping the hops in is really, really nice to smell the hops and all the fun stuff. I think people would be surprised how much standing around and waiting there is, the amount of cleaning that is involved.
We are excited for New Brunswickers to try the 506 Session Pale Ale. Look forward to hearing your feedback on it.
We are so excited about this project. We cannot wait to try the beer, and you should be excited too.
I'm excited for you to try all the beers that we're making. This is a fun new project, and I'm excited for everyone to see what we've done.